Rumors have been rife in recent days that New Orleans Saints legend Drew Brees could be set for a sensational return to the NFL. The 20-season veteran caused excitement between some fans recently, but Dennis Allen, who has been with the Saints in one capacity or another since 2015, quickly poured cold water on the rumors. Today we are discussing Allen saying that Brees' comments were made in jest, so don't go anywhere. First up, what did Brees actually say? Well, Brees, who last season was employed by NBC as an analyst, will be leaving his post after just one season, and recently had fans of his former team, the New Orleans Saints, suggesting he could be set for an emotional return. After tweeting about his future, some fans took his words to mean that a return to the game which saw him crowned Super Bowl champion in 2010 was on the cards. The native Texan, who also played for the San Diego Chargers earlier in his career, tweeted, "Despite speculation from media about my future this fall, I'm currently undecided. I may work for NBC, I may play football again, I may focus on business and philanthropy, I may train for the pickleball tour, senior golf tour, coach my kids, or all of the above. I'll let you know." Since retiring, Brees has appeared on the Football Night in America show, but it seems the former QB will be calling his analyst career a day after just one season. Earlier in the season, Brees alluded to the fact that he was missing the game, saying that "there are elements I miss about playing," before going on to say that he also missed preparing for games, as well as the locker room and the routine of a game day. I mean, after doing something for 20 years, it's understandable that he would miss all of that. What did you make of Brees' career? Let us know below. Next up, what did Dennis Allen have to say? Stay tuned. Well, Allen knows Brees pretty well. He has been a part of the Saints setup for 7 years now, and has recently been promoted to head coach for this coming season. And having recently been quizzed about a potential Brees comeback, he was quick to squash those rumors. After Brees had seemed to imply he could be set for a return to action recently, Allen addressed the situation in an interview, telling listeners he wasn't even aware of Brees' tweet initially, as he doesn't use social media. He went on to say that the former QB's comments were sure to bring up some questions during his round of golf the following day. And Allen, who as we mentioned has recently replaced Sean Payton as head coach in New Orleans, went on to suggest that Drew wasn't really being serious. He said, "I think it was a comment made in jest, and we certainly haven't had any conversations in that regard. And given the fact that there has been no contact between Brees and the Saints, this suggests that Allen's analysis of the situation is probably correct. However, the Saints are currently struggling in the QB position, so this one could have more to it than meets the eye." And Allen finished by saying, "I don't really want to live in those hypothetical worlds right now. We'll see where it all goes." But certainly, he caused a lot of interest, that's for sure. Do you guys see Brees returning? Brees has been called out by a former NFL player. Stay with us to hear all about it. It seems that some people are less than impressed with news that Brees could be set to return to the NFL, with former Washington Redskins linebacker LeVar Arrington suggesting that he is simply looking for attention. Appearing on Fox Sports Radio 2's Pros and a Cup of Joe show, Arrington even went as far as to suggest that Brees wasn't even that popular. He said, "He's just not as popular as he thinks he is. He's not as loved as he thinks he is, and he acts out when it doesn't go the way he would like for it to go. He's reaching out and he's crying out for attention." Also on the show was Brady Quinn, who plied his trade at no fewer than 7 NFL franchises over his career, who seemed to sympathize with Brees' situation, claiming that he's not really wanted by anyone at the moment, which could come across as slightly harsh. But of course, there will be those who say that Arrington and Quinn are simply jealous of the career Brees has had, which has opened up doors to him in the media which may not have been open to them. What do you guys make of Arrington and Quinn's words? Let us know your thoughts below. So, what happened with his NBC gig? Let's see. As we know, Brees has recently revealed he won't be with NBC next season, but after being touted as a rising star of the analyst game at the beginning of last season, his rapid departure has come as somewhat of a shock. It had been suggested that he was being groomed as a potential replacement for Chris Collinsworth, but the relationship didn't quite go to plan. Whilst no official word has come from Brees in regard to his NBC contract, it seems as though the broadcaster has washed its hands of him. But what actually happened? Well, it was thought that Brees struggled with simply being a featured analyst and instead preferred to call games, but NBC clearly didn't see him in that role. Apparently, the decision to part ways was mutual, as Brees didn't really stand much of a chance of dislodging Collinsworth from the role of primary game caller, which meant meant he would probably have been limited to calling Notre Dame games. Of course, there are some who have criticized Brees for what could be described as pretty disrespectful behavior, as he appears to have simply assumed that he should get the role. But of course, Collinsworth has been broadcasting for more than 30 years. It also appears that NBC had cooled on the original view they had on Brees' potential to succeed Collinsworth. Oh dear. What did you guys make of Brees' analyst career? Next up, could Brees be set to be a placeholder for Brady? As we all know, Tom Brady will eventually be Fox's main NFL analyst after inking a 10-year, $375 million deal with the broadcaster earlier this year. But of course, after reversing his decision to retire, the deal won't begin until he officially retires. In the meantime, then, Fox needs a placeholder, as the Patriots legend won't be in the booth for the 2022 season. He will instead return to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to try and win one more Super Bowl, but he could even carry on past this season. And among the names being mentioned as Brady's placeholder is Drew Brees, who, as we all know, is no longer part of the NBC team. And whilst it shouldn't be difficult to find top-class analyst talent, the hardest part will probably be choosing between those who are available. Of course, Brees is still a little green, but after NBC winning out last season when Fox were reportedly interested, it is unlikely Fox will revive their interest. But if they did, he would probably be available on the cheap, given the fact that he is currently unemployed. If they are to offer Brees a position, they might need to act fast, as he could be back on an NFL roster come August. Any truth in this one, you guys? And finally, some worrying news from the Saints offense. Stay tuned to hear all about it. The Saints have seen a bit of upheaval recently, as Sean Payton has left, being replaced with Dennis Allen. But a lot of people still aren't convinced that quarterback Jameis Winston is the answer. And a recent CBS report has gone one further, suggesting that the Saints offense is in the third tier of NFL offenses. The report will have been grim reading for Saints fans and suggests that offensive coach Pete Carmichael has a huge job on his hands this preseason. The CBS report placed the Saints offense 16th overall in the league, with CBS writer Jared Dubin saying that whilst the tier isn't great, it's still above average. However, above average doesn't get you to the Super Bowl, so there is a lot of work to do. And whilst Dubin did suggest that none of their key positions were seriously lacking, he did say that no one in the QB, running back, or receiver positions was truly elite. Of course, no one is suggesting the Saints offense is fantastic, but they do have potential. Alvin Kamara could be classed as an elite running back, but it is what he has around him which is the big question. Mark Ingram is getting on in years, so they will also need to fill this gap sooner rather than later. It will be interesting to see what Carmichael does with the Saints offense this season, as fans in New Orleans will be hoping for a big year, as usual. As always, thanks for stopping by today, and remember to join us again next time for some more fun and games. And why not do us a favor by liking and sharing today's video with any NFL heads you know of, as well as subscribing to our channel. Bye guys!